Shabbat Shalom, family. Welcome. And thank you for joining me. And I also want to thank all of you for your support, for listening to my videos, for liking, subscribing. I do appreciate it. And if you are here today, please show your support by liking and subscribing to this video and to my channel. Some of you today are observing the Day of Atonement. I will be observing it next week. And I join all of you, if you have not yet started to observe the days that the Most High has set out for us to observe. You can start with the Day of Atonement and, of course, observing each Shabbat, which is Friday from sunset to Saturday sunset. Every Friday. In this episode, I am continuing the series on America's Last Stand. The first episode was looking into the CEO of the United States sending the military to the Caribbean and Central and South America. The excuse, or under the guise what they're using, is they need to stop illegal substances from coming into the United States and from moving throughout the Caribbean. That is not true. The true purpose of their presence in the Caribbean and in Central and South America is to control resources, to have control of the oil that is in Venezuela and Guyana and any other part in the Caribbean, to make sure that they are the first or one of the first countries to exploit the resources that are there. Also, it is for rare earth minerals and for land and real estate. This is very important because they are not able to sustain them. They are not able to sustain themselves with the resources that they have in their own country, and also with the different agreements they have with other countries. They need to get as much oil and as much resources, rare earth minerals, and land as they can possibly get. And as I mentioned in that video, which was the first part of this series, is that they're going to fail. There's going to be a great embarrassment for them. They're not going to be able to overcome what they have set in motion, because what they're doing is going to set off a series of events that are going to happen, but it is only going to end with them in complete embarrassment and shame. The second video that I did for that series was discussing how, again, the CEO of the United States has sent out the military into American cities. The most recent one is Memphis. And the purpose of that is not to get crime down. The purpose of that is to control the movements of citizens and residents in those cities, because they already have plans to do something, and they need to have control over the American population. This is starting off in cities. It is going to move to regional. It will then become statewide, and then it will become national. That is what you're seeing. They're going to use the excuse that, there's a lot of crime. We need to get the crime down. We need to make people feel safe. And yes, part of what they are doing, it will, in the short term, reduce crime. But in the long term, it is going to produce, and it's going to have a result of the citizen wanting to fight back. Because they're going to realize that this is not about keeping crime down, but it is about controlling their movements and keeping them in their home so that they can do what it is that they want to do, and that they don't want anyone to disturb them. That's what you're seeing. Now, today in the final part of this series, America's Last Stand, I am going to be talking about the movement that you will see of the CEO of the United States moving military, moving different types of resources outside of military to the African continent. And the purpose of this is a few. One, it is to compete and to combat the Russian and Chinese presence on the continent. It is to compete with the resources, or compete with those countries for the resources that is there. It is also to, in that whole competing for the resources, get business deals done with African businesses and the government to have a part in the control of the resources on the continent. The second reason they're there is to start discord, to start conflict, to be an agent of war. And it will come in different forms. It will come in different forms of supporting one group against another. And this has been done for centuries in Africa. We have seen it done. If you are a student of history, you know that this is how they operate. This is how Edom operates, and those that support Edom, the other Gentile and heathen nations that support Edom, this is what you're going to see. The more conflict, the more voice they will have, or they feel that they have, to say, the United States to say that they want to keep peace in the region, and that they have come to bring stability to the region, and that they've come to fight against terrorism. They've come to fight against different factions that are disrupting regions and governments. And they are going to present themselves as peacekeepers. But what they are is they are oath breakers. They are bringers of discord and war, and that they cannot be trusted. The African leadership throughout these countries, such as South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, these countries that have agreements with the United States or with businesses that are American are going to realize this, and they are going to be removed off of the continent. That's right. The African governments are going to realize what is happening, that this is the same playbook that France has used. And America will follow France and be removed off of the continent completely. But unlike France, America is going to be more desperate, because that's what Edom is, and that is what Edom will become, is desperate, more and more desperate. And they are going to fight back as much as possible to try and have a foothold somewhere, anywhere in Africa. Whether it is the Horn of Africa, whether it is Southern Africa, Central, Western, or Northern, they're going to try and maintain a hold in Africa, but America will be completely removed from Africa. We will see conflict in Africa before that happens. Because this is also a lesson for those who are citizens, those who are indigenous to the continent. This is a lesson for you. It is to show you who these people are. It is a lesson that has repeated itself over and over and over again. And this lesson that those on the continent are getting ready to learn, it will be devastating to them. But in the end, the continent will win. You will see conflicts pop up out of nowhere, seemingly out of nowhere. You will see more terrorist activity. Again, seemingly out of nowhere, a heightened amount of violence, seemingly out of nowhere. But it's not out of nowhere. It is all planned. It is purposely done by America and those that have allied with Babylon. They're not going to win. They will be defeated. Now, in one of my previous videos that I've done, I think it was about 3 months ago. It was called, and you can go and watch the video if you'd like. It's called Babylon, a desolation without an inhabitant. I went over in that video that I saw 2 very large angels interlock their swords and thrusted into the seabed, and the ripples left Africa. They left off the coast of the Ivory Coast, or Côte d'Ivoire, and they reached America. In my vision, I also saw Macron run and leave Côte d'Ivoire. He left West Africa. He went back to France, and an angel followed him. And the job of that angel is to produce destruction upon France. It is to destroy France completely, utterly, total destruction of France. And you will see the same thing happen to America. You're going to see the same thing happen to many European countries. That there will be an angel of destruction that is going to follow the leader back to their country and produce all types of calamity, all types of problems. It'll be unending because they're not going to repent for the hundreds of years of wickedness that they have done to the Most High's people, the deception, the lies, the partnerships that they have went into in secret to destroy the Most High's people, to speak against His name, to speak against His word, to blaspheme, to do all types of wickedness. They will be held accountable. They're not going to be able to pray it away. They're not going to say that now our country is a Christian country, or that we have always been a Christian country and now we are going to pray and everything will be all right. That will not be their portion. Their portion is going to be problems, issues. They're going to be terrorized. These nations are going to have great shame and reproach upon them. Edom will have great shame and reproach upon it. They will be a byword. They will not be able to escape from it because, one, they will not repent. They're not going to repent. They're not going to turn from their wickedness. They're going to continue trying to destroy wherever they go. If you hear any background noise, I apologize for that. There's just some work being done outside. So I just want to apologize if you are hearing any background noise. But yes, they are not going to be able to escape what is coming. And they will fight, they will fight, they will fight, and they will continue to fight. And yet there'll be no movement. There will be no progress. When they think that, hey, we finally got ahead. Hey, we're finally getting back on top. We're finally, getting where we want to be politically in or on the continent. It will be of no good to them. They'll be set back. There'll be setback after setback after setback. There'll be stagnation after stagnation. There's no movement. They are liars. There is no truth in them. That is why the president or the CEO of the United States was able to stand up and say he wants to make sure that America is a Christian nation, all while undermining the work of those that have preserved the history of the black man and black woman in America, saying that it doesn't need to be this way. We can get rid of this part of history. We can suppress these stories of those that were enslaved. But what the CEO of the United States does not realize is that his family, because of his wickedness, is set for desolation. And that Edom, the United States, is set for destruction. That Edom will be sent into captivity. And it will not matter if the person is rich, if they're poor. It will not matter what position they hold in society, that they are going into captivity. And this is where they're going to be trapped, is that they're going over to the continent to try and make new business relationships, trying to make new contacts so that they can pillage more resources. But it is a setup for them to go into captivity. Because while they are there, they're going to do all sorts of things that is going to upset the people of those nations. And they're going to have to leave. And those that don't leave, that want to fight, they will be placed into captivity. So what you will see is you're going to see a great embarrassment, not just in the Caribbean, but you're going to see a great embarrassment on the continent of Africa. You're going to see that these same people who are cheering the CEO of the United States, the same people that say that they are MAGA, the same people that support the wickedness of Charlie Kirk, these are going to be the same people that are going to be placed in captivity in their country of birth by the leader that they support. These same people that are cheering, supporting the wickedness, the racism of the CEO of the United States, they're going to be the same ones that are going to be told to go back to your home. They're going to be the same ones that is going to be told, we are taking your house. We're taking your cars. We're taking your bank accounts, and we're taking your pew-pews. We're taking everything from you. And at the end of it, hey, if you want to go and do something for your country, you can go over to the continent and you can fight. And they will, those that go, they will be placed into captivity. There are families that will never see each other again. As I said in the previous videos, they're going to separate families. That's what happened to us, right? As so-called Black people, that is what happened to us. That's what happened to our ancestors. And the same words that they use against us, the same reasoning that they have used against us is going to be used against them as their judgment. So when Charlie Kirk said, a few people have to die, have to be no more to maintain pew-pew rights, that's the judgment that he got. The same one who said that so-called Black people are violent, that we are 13% of the population in the United States, and we produce, according to him, 50, 55, 60% of crime, of no mores, right? Where the person is no more. That we are a violent people, right? That is his reasoning against us. And yet, it's someone that looks just like him that took him out. This is their judgment. This is their judgment. And it will continue to be their judgment. When they tell us, as so-called Black people, that we just need to get over it. Right? When they're talking about slavery, we just need to get over being enslaved, our ancestors being enslaved, is the same way that people are going to tell them that they just need to endure their condition. And keep in mind, their condition is supposed to be double what we got. So they're going to get it even worse than us. And people will look at them and tell them, you just need to endure. Because remember what your people did to Black people. Remember how you went all across and killed or made unalive all of the indigenous people? How you then brought in so-called Black people? Remember when your people went over to this country and that country and you did this and you did that? You're just going to have to endure it. Just make the best of it. That's what's going to be told to them. when they say that we don't deserve reparations. And just so that they know, if they are listening, the Most High Yahuwah is going to give us our reparations. So even if they don't want to, their governments don't want to give us reparations, which we 1,000% deserve, the Most High said that we're going to leave with great substances and wealth. Did you hear me? The Most High said that his people are going to leave with great substances and wealth. Right? The same way that they say that we don't deserve any reparations is the same way that all of their riches are going to be taken away from them, and they will be denied anything good. Anything that has value, they will be denied. That's right. The land, houses, cars, precious metals, everything. Everything that will have value at that time will be taken from them. Because out of their own mouth, they said that we don't deserve reparations. That's what they said, right? Out of their own mouth and out of their own actions, they have shown that they do not have any empathy. The same thing will be done to them. They will not be given any empathy, any understanding, any mercy. That is right. And many of these situations that arise where empathy would be asked for, understanding, mercy will be asked for, is going to happen on the continent, and they'll be given none. They will have to leave. The United States military is going to have to leave Africa completely. They'll be given none of that. They'll be given none of that. They will search for it. They will plead their case. What you're seeing is the head becoming the tail. You're seeing Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning. This is what you're seeing. The same way that African leaders would go to Europe, would go to the United States, the same way they would go to the UN and plead their case for help and say that their people are starving. Their people are being no more because of famine. And instead of getting the help, they got exploited. There was no empathy given. There was no conscience and no heart. Is the same way Esau and all the other Gentile and heathen nations that have went and exploited the Most High and his people. That is the same and worse that they will be receiving. When they go and plead their case, no one is going to care. They're not going to want to hear them. They're going to dismiss them. And you're going to see a lot of this happening on the continent. They're going to want to have land. They want to get their hands on those resources. They want to come over like they're a helping hand. But it's not going to work. It's going to be short-lived, is what I'm saying. Yes, they will go over. They will make business deals. The United States will make business deals. The United States will make different types of agreements with the government. The governments on the continent. But they will be short-lived. They are going to fight. And when that no longer works, they are going to try and plead their case. It's not going to work. And the end of America, as we know it, because it is going to become something different, but the end of America as we know it is going to be determined on the continent. The same way that France is collapsing because they treated God's people horribly. They thought that we were nothing. They thought they could take advantage of us. They thought they can talk to us any type of way. But now they are being destroyed. And they will continue to be destroyed. They're not getting out of this. Because, one, they will not repent. And two, the Most High said what they're going to do and that they will not repent. So the Most High's word must return to him complete. There'll be no void in the Most High's word. They are done. They are done. There is no coming back from where they are. They will plead their case. They will do the guilt trip of how they've helped the continent. They will even try to marry our brothers and sisters on the continent to make it where it will appear to be more difficult to get rid of them. But that is not going to work either. It's not going to work. Brothers and sisters, if you're on the continent, you need to wake up. You need to see what is happening. And you need to lead and let your fellow brothers and sisters know that this is real. This is happening right now, and it will continue to happen. Countries where the United States has quite a bit of business is Nigeria, South Africa, Angola, Kenya, Ghana is another one, Senegal. Over the next space of time that is to come, you are going to see these partnerships, these relationships deteriorate. Because the Most High has to remove Edom and place them into captivity. So whether they are being placed into captivity on the continent, outside of the continent, really doesn't matter. As long as the Most High's word comes to pass. As long as his word is complete. And in the way that he wants it to be complete is the way that it's going to happen. All we can do is give him praise and glory and glorify his name. But it will happen. Nigeria, look out for more unrest. South Africa as well. Ghana. And the leaders of these countries, they understand what is happening. But the push that is to be made to secure their resources is going to have to be more outright, more forceful, and more significant. Some among the leadership of these nations and of other nations throughout Africa want to play both sides and feel that they can have all of these partnerships with the United States, with Europe, and still maintain their independence and support their people and growth of their country. And there are others who don't care about their people. They do not care about their country. They care about themselves. And all of this is going to become exposed, and it's going to become more clear for the citizens of the country, of the continent, and Black people worldwide, and of course other nations. We will see, and all of this will become plain. All of these things are going to be exposed. The world is going to understand what they're looking at and what they're seeing. And they're not going to be able to hide anymore. They're not going to be able to play one group against the other anymore. And I think that is a good thing. Yes, I do. I do think that is a good thing. Yes. And as time goes on, America as I've put in many of my videos, I've discussed this. They're just going to become more and more desperate. But they will be driven out. They're going to be gone. And just like in France, because of them being driven out, because of the isolation, it's going to be one of the major reasons why the United States will completely collapse. Because they know that they are broke. They know that there's no way out of this. And I will be releasing a few other videos just to talk about what has been taking place over the last few weeks with Charlie Kirk, with the heavenly bodies that we're seeing that are coming toward Earth. I will be talking about that. But I wish all of you well. I thank you all for joining me. Shalom.